Ready for dictation from the Hindu editorial section dated 30th November 2021. Ready. 8 years after the RBI issued its first advisory cautioning holders of virtual currencies about the potential financial and security risks, and 2 years after drafting a bill to ban cryptocurrencies, the government is set to introduce legislation that would, if passed, officially prescribe such currencies. Its concerns appear to be the risks associated with cryptocurrencies, including their potential use for money laundering and financing of illegal activities. The risks investors and consumers face in dealing with these so called currencies, given that they are neither a store of value nor are they a medium of exchange, and the ostensible threat they pose to financial stability are also key factors. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had, in a video addressed to the Sydney Dialogue earlier this month, said it is important that all democratic nations work together on this cryptocurrency and ensure it does not end up in wrong hands. The center and the RBI's deep disquiet with cryptocurrencies notwithstanding, there has been an exponential jump in investment in virtual currencies, especially after the Supreme Court last year struck down an RBI notification barring financial entities from facilitating customer transactions related to virtual currencies. Industry estimates now peg cryptocurrency holdings in India at about rupees 40,000 crore, held by about 15 million investors, and advertising trends show an upsurge in ads promoting brands associated with investment in virtual currencies. That the ground has shifted since an interministerial committee set up to study the issues related to virtual currencies first proposed the ban in 2019 is beyond doubt. From the emphatic assertion in that panel's report that no country across the world treats virtual currencies as legal tender, to a situation where earlier this year El Salvador, admittedly a small and heavily indebted nation, officially declared Bitcoin as legal tender. Much has changed in the adoption of private virtual currencies worldwide. The pandemic has accentuated the global embrace of all things digital and investment in the technologies enabling cryptocurrencies, including blockchain, appear to be no different. Canada, Japan, and Thailand permit the use of virtual currencies as a payment method, with some jurisdictions regulating them as a digital asset and others as a commodity. Canada and the US closely monitor virtual currency activity to ensure they do not run afoul of laws on financial crimes, with the former also earning tax revenue on transactions. All things given, India should eschew the temptation to join China in prescribing virtual currencies and instead aim to tightly regulate their trading through monitored exchange. and earn revenue. Simultaneously, it should expedite the RBI's pilot of the central bank digital currency so as to offer an alternative to cryptocurrencies. For the first time in 16 years, Germany will have a social democrat as chancellor with three parties from opposite ends of the political spectrum agreeing to form a coalition that will end the era of Angela Merkel. In the run up to the elections, not many expected that Olaf Scholz, leader of the Social Democratic Party under bracket SPD, that is a junior partner in Miss Merkel's coalition, would succeed her. The SPD, Germany's oldest political party that placed itself as a centrist platform with a focus on social security measures, has faced an identity crisis of sorts as Ms. Merkel emerged as the country's quintessential centrist leader. On the other side, a relatively new leftist party, Die Linke, ate into the SPD's traditional leftist base. This year's election, whose main theme was to pick Ms. Merkel's successor, opened political opportunities. While Ms. Merkel's conservative Christian Democrats under bracket CDU tried to turn the Chancellor's popularity into votes with the message of continuity. The SPD under Mr. Scholz, who is the finance minister in the outgoing government, promised incremental reforms, including higher spending, while not completely disowning Ms. Merkel's legacy. Results showed that he was more successful than his contenders in persuading reluctant voters after taking a narrow lead over the CDU. The SPD started coalition talks with the Greens and the pro-business Free Democrats under bracket FDP to form a traffic light coalition bracket start named after the colors of the parties bracket close. The pace and the discipline with which the parties announced the coalition suggest that they are serious about forming a stable government. Traffic light coalition, socialists, liberals, and greens all together. Each party has gained and conceded something in the coalition agreement. The SPD got the green light for its proposal to raise minimum wages from about €10 to €12 an hour. It has also proposed to build some 4 lakh housing units to cool the housing market. The parties also agreed to phase out the use of coal for electricity production and increase the share of renewables to 80% by 2030 in return for the FDP's support for their spending and climate agenda. The Social Democrats and Greens agreed not to raise taxes. While the coalition agreement clears the way for government formation, it does not mean that governance would be smooth for Mr. Scholz. He lacks Ms. Merkel's popularity and has to lead a diverse coalition that was formed based on convenience and compromise rather than any ideological commonality, Germany also faces economic, political, and geopolitical challenges, from the COVID 19 crisis to cracks in the EU and challenges emanating from an aggressive Russia. His success as an administrator would depend on his ability to balance the competing agenda of the three parties and to put forward a common governance program for Germany.